You ever been in a season where everything around you seemed designed to crush you? People doubted you, talked about you, maybe even walked away when you needed them most. The weight on your shoulders felt heavier than what your knees could carry. And the truth is, it wasn't just life hitting you. It was betrayal, disappointment, heartbreak, the kind that makes you question if you'll ever rise again. But let me tell you something, what they meant for harm, God meant for good. That pit they tried to bury you in, God turned it into the foundation for your future. That setback that had you crying at night, wondering if this was the end. God whispered, "This isn't the end. This is where I begin." See, every test is a setup for a testimony. Every giant in your life exists to show you how strong your sling really is. You thought you were losing, but in the process, God was building. Building character, building endurance, building faith, because the oil don't flow without the press. Diamonds don't shine without the pressure. And here's the part they didn't expect. While they were plotting your downfall, heaven was drafting your comeback. While they were trying to close doors, God was carving out a doorway that no man could shut. And when he opens it, nobody, no enemy, no boss, no critic, can stop what he's ordained for you. So when people try to break you, let them try, because you're not standing on their opinion. You're standing on God's promise. You're not fueled by their validation. You're fueled by his vision, and his vision for your life is bigger than their attack. Your pain, it's becoming purpose. Your scars, they're turning into strength. That storm you thought would drown you, it's about to wash you up on a new shore, so don't you dare quit. Don't you dare give up now. You've come too far to fold. Because the very thing that was sent to break you, that very thing is the same thing God is using to launch you. They thought they ended you, but they just introduced you to a new beginning. They tried to break you, but God turned it into your breakthrough. See, life will always present moments when you feel as though the world has turned against you. There are times when people you trusted the most, people you counted on to stand by your side, will be the very ones who doubt you, who whisper behind your back, who make you question your own worth. Opposition and challenges are inevitable because they are a part of the process. You cannot escape the fact that when you decide to walk toward purpose, resistance will rise to meet you. It is almost as if the universe begins to test your strength the moment you take a step forward. The higher the calling, the greater the challenge. That's not a punishment, that's preparation. Sometimes the attacks are subtle. A friend who suddenly becomes distant. An opportunity that seemed certain but falls through. Doors that were wide open yesterday now slammed shut. Other times, it hits hard betrayal that cuts deep, rejection that stings, and failure that feels like a weight sitting on your chest. In those moments, it is easy to wonder if you are cursed or forgotten. You might even start believing the voices that say you are not enough. But understand this. Those challenges are not there to break you permanently. They are there to shape you. Every storm you face carries a lesson. Every setback contains a seed of strength waiting to grow in you. People will doubt you not because of who you are, but because of what they see in you. They sense potential they cannot control. They recognize light they cannot dim. So they speak words meant to discourage you. They create obstacles hoping you will stop trying. But what they fail to realize is that opposition only strengthens determination when you choose to stand firm. The pressure of criticism, the weight of adversity, and the sharpness of betrayal. Those things become chisels that carve character. They cut away fear. They remove pride. They shape resilience. And without those tools, without those moments, you would never become who you were created to be. So expect challenges, expect people to question your journey. Expect life to throw you into places that feel dark and lonely. These moments are not proof that you are losing. They are signs that you are in motion, that you are moving towards something greater than what you left behind. If life were easy, if every door opened without resistance, if every dream came without difficulty, you would never discover the strength that was hiding inside you all along. Opposition and challenges are inevitable, but they are not your enemy. They are the proof that you have something worth fighting for, and something worth becoming. There comes a point in life when the very things designed to harm you become the same things that elevate you. It is a truth that many only realize after the storm has passed, but it remains constant. What others intended to use against you can be the very tool that brings you closer to your destiny. When people plot your downfall, when situations seem unfair, when betrayal strikes and hardship overwhelms, it is easy to believe that you have been abandoned or forgotten. Yet in those moments, something far greater is at work, something orchestrated beyond what human hands can control. Every plan devised against you has to pass through the hands of God, and if it reaches you, it is because He allowed it to serve a purpose beyond what you can see. Life has a way of flipping the script in ways that no one expects. What was supposed to break your spirit becomes the reason you grow stronger. The pain that seemed unbearable becomes the platform for your greatest testimony. You think about the people who left you, the doors that closed, the opportunities that never happened, and in the beginning, it feels like loss. It feels like the enemy has won. But time reveals a deeper truth, that those very losses cleared the path for something greater. If those people had stayed, you might have never discovered who you really are. If those doors had remained open, you would have walked into rooms that were never meant for you. If those opportunities had worked out, you might have settled for less than what you were destined to have. When others try to harm you, they never consider that their actions could be the spark that ignites your transformation. They think they are destroying you when in reality, they are positioning you for something beyond their imagination. The betrayal that crushed you is what taught you discernment. The rejection that made you cry is what redirected you to the place you truly belonged. The setback that embarrassed you is what fueled your determination to rise higher. And the beautiful part about all of this is that none of it was wasted. Every tear, every sleepless night, every lonely road, God used it all to shape your character, refine your purpose, and prepare you for the next level. So when you look back at the things that were meant to harm you, you realize they became stepping stones. What looked like the end turned out to be the beginning. What seemed like a curse transformed into a blessing. The attacks that came to destroy you became the very reason you discovered your strength and walked into your breakthrough. The harm that others intended could never override the plan that God had for you, because what He ordains cannot be stopped. No matter who tries to stand in the way, setbacks have a way of feeling final when you are in the middle of them. When the job you worked so hard for falls through, when the relationship you invested in ends without warning, when the dream you prayed for seems to collapse right in front of you, it can feel like everything is over. But what if the thing you call a setback is really a setup? What if the door that closed was never meant for you to walk through? What if the disappointment you are feeling now is actually preparing you for something far greater than you imagined? Sometimes, life has to break your plans so that it can align you with a purpose that is much bigger than what you had in mind. The truth is that every great story has moments of struggle, every success is built on foundations of failure, and every champion has scars from battles that almost broke them. That is because setbacks teach you things success never will. They strip away the illusion of control, forcing you to rely on faith. They make you humble enough to learn and strong enough to keep moving when everything in you wants to stop. A setback is not a signal to quit. It is a signal that there is a greater plan unfolding, even when you cannot see it yet. Think about this. If life gave you everything you wanted exactly when you wanted it, you would never grow. You would never develop patience, resilience, or wisdom. Setbacks are the training ground for those qualities. They build the strength you need for the next season of your life. Because the truth is, what is coming next is going to require more of you than what you have now. So the setback comes to prepare you. It comes to sharpen your faith. It comes to build your capacity so that when the opportunity finally arrives, you are ready to carry it without breaking under the weight of it. When you shift your perspective, you begin to see that a setback is not an end, but a rerouting. It is not life punishing you, it is life positioning you. The delay, you are frustrated, with might be protecting you from something you cannot see. The rejection you are hurt by might be redirecting you to something that fits your purpose in a way that would have never happened otherwise. Setbacks are setups for comebacks, and the only reason they feel so heavy is because they are pushing you into a version of yourself you have not met yet. The strength, the courage, the wisdom you need to succeed is being forged in this very moment, through the very thing you thought would destroy you, and when you look back, you will see that what felt like a loss was the foundation for your greatest victory. There is a reason why pressure feels so intense when you are pursuing something meaningful. It is because greatness is never born in comfort. Diamonds are not formed on the surface of the earth where everything is easy. They are created deep underground, under extreme heat and pressure, where conditions seem unbearable. Oil does not flow until the olive is crushed. Gold does not shine until it passes through fire. The same principle applies to life. Pressure is not there to destroy you. It is there to reveal what is inside you. The very weight you think is breaking you is the force shaping your character, molding your resilience and refining your purpose. Pressure exposes the truth. It shows you what you are made of. When everything is smooth and easy, it is simple to appear strong, to talk about faith, to believe in your vision. But when the storm hits, when the bills pile up, when the people you trusted walk away, when nothing seems to go according to plan, that is when the real you emerges. Pressure pulls strength out of you that you did not know you had. It pushes you beyond your limits, stretching your endurance until what once felt impossible becomes normal. Most people want the reward without the resistance. They want the crown without the cross, the success without the struggle. But life does not work that way. Pressure is a part of the process because the promise you are waiting for requires a stronger version of you. If you walked into your destiny unprepared, the very blessing you prayed for could become a burden. So pressure comes to build your capacity, to prepare you to handle what is coming next. Every tear you shed, every night you stayed awake wondering why life feels so hard, those are not wasted moments. They are shaping you into someone who can carry greatness without crumbling under the weight of it. It is in those seasons of pressure that you learn discipline, patience, and perseverance. You discover the power of faith when everything else fails. You learn how to stand tall even when you feel like falling apart. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that the hardest seasons of your life produced the strongest parts of you. The crushing did not destroy you. It positioned you. The fire did not consume you. It refined you. Every ounce of pressure had a purpose, and without it, you would have never become who you were meant to be. So the next time life squeezes you, do not see it as punishment. See it as preparation for the glory that is coming, because pressure always precedes power, and struggle always comes before strength when life throws challenges your way. It often feels like the enemy is winning. The betrayal, the setbacks, the disappointments. They make it seem like the story is over, and the ending will not be in your favor. But what you do not see is that while others are plotting your downfall, something greater is happening behind the scenes. There is a plan unfolding that is bigger than the schemes of people, and stronger than the storms you face. What looks like defeat is often the preparation for an incredible comeback, one that nobody, not even your enemies, can stop. The beautiful thing about a comeback is that it always requires a setback. You cannot rise unless you have first been pushed down. You cannot demonstrate resilience unless something tried to break you. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has a story filled with moments where quitting seemed easier than holding on. The difference is they understood that the fight was not over when it looked like they lost. They knew that when life seems darkest, that is when the seeds of a new beginning are planted. Your comeback is greater than the attack because it is not powered by human strength alone. It is fueled by divine purpose. The very things that others used to harm you become the materials for your rebuilding. Every insult, every rejection, every failure becomes fuel. Instead of destroying you, it drives you to grow, to rise, to become stronger than you ever imagined. What they intended as a stumbling block turns into a stepping stone. What they meant to bury you with becomes the soil for your growth. And here is what makes this truth so powerful. Your story does not end where they thought it would. The people who walked away expecting you to fail will watch you rise to heights they never believed possible. The doors that closed will lead you to gates that no man can shut. The opportunities you lost will be replaced with blessings so great they will silence every critic who doubted you. This is why the attack had to happen. It was setting the stage for a testimony that would not only inspire you, but inspire everyone watching. So when life comes against you, when people underestimate you, when everything seems to fall apart, remind yourself that the fight is not over. Your pain has a purpose, and your struggle is not wasted. You are not being buried, you are being planted. And when the time comes for you to rise, nothing and no one will be able to stop what has been destined for you from the very beginning. The attack was temporary, but the comeback will be permanent, and it will be so powerful that it will make every battle you fought worth it in life. There will always be people who try to define you by their opinions. They will tell you what you can and cannot do, who you can and cannot become, and where your limits should be. They speak as if their words hold the authority over your destiny. The truth is, their opinions are only as powerful as the weight you give them. Your future does not rest in the hands of those who criticize you. It rests in the hands of the one who created you. When God has spoken a promise over your life, no amount of doubt, gossip, or negativity can cancel it. The challenge is that when you hear something often enough, you start to believe it. People will say you are not qualified, not talented, not strong enough, and if you are not careful, their voices can drown out the truth. But you have to remember that validation from people is temporary and unreliable. It shifts with moods, with circumstances, and with opinions that change like the wind. What is constant and unshakable is God's vision for your life. He sees what no one else sees. He knows the gifts, the abilities, and the potential He placed inside you long before anyone else had an opinion about you. When people speak against you, they are speaking from their limitations, not yours. They judge you based on what they know, but God calls you based on what He has planned. They cannot comprehend the magnitude of your assignment because it was never given to them. It was given to you. This is why you cannot let their disbelief become your truth. If you start measuring yourself by their yardstick, you will shrink to fit their expectations instead of expanding to fulfill your calling. Your destiny is bigger than what people think of you. It is bigger than their doubts, bigger than their rejection, bigger than their attempts to hold you back. When God says yes, no amount of human effort can turn it into a no. When He opens a door, no one can shut it. That is why you have to keep your focus on His promises, and not on people's opinions. You were never meant to live for their applause, or to collapse under their criticism. You were created to walk boldly in the purpose assigned to you, regardless of who approves or disapproves. Every time you choose faith over fear, you break free from the chains of other people's expectations. Every time you trust the vision God placed in your heart instead of the voices around you, you move closer to the life you were meant to live. Their opinions may be loud, but they are not final. The only voice that matters is the one that spoke your name before you were even born and declared that you are destined for something greater than what anyone else can imagine. Pain is one of the greatest teachers life has to offer, and yet it is the one most people try to avoid. Nobody wants to hurt. Nobody prays for hardship, but pain often carries the very lessons that shape who you become. When life breaks your heart, when you suffer losses that you cannot explain, when you endure storms that leave you on your knees, it feels like there is no purpose in what you are going through. In those moments, it is easy to ask why, to wonder if you have been forgotten. But over time, you begin to see that every tear had meaning, every wound carried wisdom, and every painful moment was building something inside you that comfort and ease never could. Pain turns into purpose when you allow it to. It has the power to harden your heart or to make it stronger, to leave you bitter or to make you better. The choice is yours. You can let the hurt define you, or you can let it refine you. When you choose the latter, something extraordinary happens. You begin to take the pieces of your brokenness and build something meaningful out of them. The very experience that once made you question your worth becomes the platform for your greatest strength. The same storm that almost drowned you becomes the testimony that inspires others to keep going. There is something about suffering that forces you to discover depths of yourself you never knew existed. When everything is easy, you do not dig deep. You stay comfortable on the surface. But when pain enters the picture, it pushes you into places where you find strength you did not know you had. It awakens resilience. It teaches empathy. It gives you a perspective that cannot be learned in books or classrooms. Suddenly, you understand people better because you have walked through fire yourself. You can comfort someone else because you know what it feels like to be broken. And then one day, you realize that the thing that caused you the most pain also gave birth to the greatest purpose in your life. You start using your story to help others heal. You take what tried to destroy you and turn it into something that builds people up. That is how pain transforms. It does not erase the past, but it gives meaning to it. What once made you cry now becomes the reason someone else finds hope. The wound becomes a well of wisdom. The scar becomes a sign of survival. So when life hurts, do not waste it. Do not let it turn you cold. Let it teach you, shape you, and grow you. Let it lead you to the place where your pain becomes your platform and your struggle becomes your strength. Because every ounce of pain you have endured is preparing you for a purpose far greater than you can imagine. There are moments in life when everything inside you wants to quit. The weight of disappointment feels too heavy. The dreams you once believed in seem too far away. And the fight you are in feels like it will never end. It is in those moments that persistence becomes the difference between those who succeed and those who give up too soon. The truth is, every great victory comes after the hardest battle. Every major breakthrough happens right after the point when most people decide to walk away. Quitting is easy, but easy never leads to greatness. Holding on when everything tells you to let go is what separates those who talk about winning from those who actually experience it. Persistence is not about ignoring the pain or pretending the struggle does not exist. It is about choosing to move forward in spite of it. It is about showing up day after day when you feel exhausted, when the doors keep closing, and when the results you want have not shown up yet. That is what makes persistence so powerful. It is proof that your faith is stronger than your frustration. It is the act of saying, "I will not stop until I see what I believe." And that kind of determination cannot be stopped by circumstances, setbacks, or the opinions of others. Every person you admire, every success story you look up to, is built on the foundation of persistence. They all faced moments when quitting seemed like the only logical option. They all had nights where doubt screamed louder than hope. But they made a decision to keep going, to take one more step, to push through one more obstacle. That decision changed everything. You never know how close you are to the breakthrough you have been praying for. It could be one more attempt, one more day of trying, one more refusal to give up that brings everything you have worked for into reality. What makes persistence even more powerful is that it builds strength in you along the way. Every time you choose to keep going, you grow tougher. Every time you push through resistance, you develop resilience. And resilience is the key to sustaining success when it finally arrives. Because the truth is, life will never stop challenging you. If you quit at the first sign of struggle, you will never make it to the place you were created to reach. But if you decide that giving up is not an option, nothing can stop you, not rejection, not failure, not even time. Persistence turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It is the quiet force that carries you when your feelings fail you, when your energy is gone, and when hope feels dim. It is the voice that says, just one more step, even when everything in you says stop. And if you keep taking those steps, one day you will look back and realize that persistence was the bridge that carried you from where you were to where you were always meant to be. Life has a way of turning what was intended for harm into something that propels you forward. The very challenge that was designed to break you often becomes the reason you rise higher than you ever imagined. People may think that by hurting you, rejecting you, or closing doors on you, they are ending your story. But what they do not understand is that these moments do not define your end. They define your beginning. Every weapon formed against you can be turned into a tool for your growth. Every setback that was meant to crush your spirit can become the foundation for your success if you choose to see it differently. When something comes against you, your first instinct may be to ask, "Why me?" The pain feels unbearable and the path ahead looks impossible. But time and experience reveal a powerful truth. Those battles that were meant to destroy you actually prepare you for something greater. They teach you resilience. They teach you how to fight when the odds are stacked against you. They teach you to rely on a strength that is bigger than your own. These challenges pull something out of you that comfort never could. They force you to dig deep, to find courage you didn't know existed, and to discover that your breaking point can become your break-through point. The most incredible part is that the enemy never sees this coming. They believe that by throwing obstacles in your way, they will stop you. They believe that rejection will make you give up. They believe that betrayal will crush your confidence. But instead, it lights a fire inside you. The pain becomes your motivation. The storm becomes your training ground. The very weight they put on your shoulders becomes the resistance that builds your strength. You come out of the situation not weaker, but stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever before. What was supposed to bury you ends up planting you. And just like a seed, when you are buried in darkness, it feels like the end. It feels like everything is over. But what is really happening is growth. Roots are forming, strength is being built, and soon, what was hidden beneath the surface begins to rise and bloom for everyone to see. That is the beauty of how life works. What others intended to use against you becomes the platform for your success. What was meant to break you becomes the very reason you elevate to a level that no one, not even your enemies, thought was possible. So when life throws its hardest punches, remind yourself of this truth. The attack is temporary, but the growth it produces will last forever. The challenge was never meant to end your story. It was meant to launch the next chapter, the one where you rise above every obstacle and step boldly into the life that was always waiting for you. Victory is never handed to you easily. It is something earned through persistence, resilience, and unwavering faith. There will be times when the odds are stacked against you, when every door seems closed, and when quitting looks like the most reasonable option. Those moments are not there to break you. They are there to reveal how much you truly want what you have been fighting for. The truth is, the most powerful victories are birthed in the darkest hours, when everything inside you says to give up, but something deep within whispers to hold on just a little longer. That whisper is the voice that carries you from defeat to triumph. Victory belongs to those who refuse to surrender. It is not about those who start strong, but those who finish strong. Those who keep showing up even when the results are invisible. Those who keep pushing when their strength is gone. And those who keep believing when everything looks hopeless. There is a strength that only comes from endurance, and you only discover it when life pushes you to your breaking point. Every tear, every sleepless night, every setback is not wasted. It is an investment into the victory that is coming. The hardest battles often come right before the greatest breakthroughs. That is because challenges intensify when you are close to something significant. The resistance increases because the enemy knows that if you cross this threshold, nothing will be able to stop you. This is why giving up is the enemy of greatness. The moment you quit, you forfeit the victory that was just beyond your struggle. You may not see it, but every step you take in faith, every moment you refuse to back down, brings you closer to the finish line. Victory is not always loud and dramatic. Sometimes it is the quiet persistence of holding on when everything in you says let go. It is the decision to keep walking when your legs are tired, to keep believing when your heart is broken, and to keep working when the results seem delayed. It is this level of determination that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. The ones who win are not always the most talented or the most privileged. They are the ones who decided that quitting was not an option. And when that moment of victory finally comes, when you stand on the other side of everything that tried to destroy you, you will realize why the fight was so hard. You will understand why you had to go through so much pain and why the wait was so long. It was never to break you, it was to build you. It was to shape you into the person who could carry the weight of that victory with grace and strength. Victory belongs to those who hold on, who keep going no matter what, because the reward is always greater than the pain that preceded it.